Welcome back to Empowerment Radio. I'm here with Mabel Katz, the author of Zero Frequency, and we just talked about trusting. How do you learn to use the muscle of trust? So right now, Mabel, since we do have, I think, a little bit of that feeling of being lost, at least many people feel that way, what would you suggest as a simple exercise to practice trusting?
Okay, so we all have stories, that we tell ourselves, and we engage with
Yes.
the stories and we make it. So one of the things that I recommend people is to says, I change stations, because you do have another station, you can connect with, that is the universe that has all the solutions for your problems. The other thing is you can also say, thank you, but I'm busy. So you have to be more conscious. You become the observer. You have to know you're not those thoughts or because everything is memories in our subconscious mind, yeah? And they pop up and they play and replay. So the thing is how you stop this to connect with another part of you that is inside. For example, I became a believer because I found God inside of me. I call God a more intelligent mind than mine, but than my intellect. And we all have that connection, but we are always listening to the other radio, the one that thinks it knows.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you a story. When I let go in November of 2008, when I let go completely of my career, that gave me the stability, and everything. Um, I had an income that was coming to me that gave me some freedom, to be able to make a decision like this. And but at one point and I already had a lot of employees because of that I got that income. So, but at that point, that income disappeared. And sure, I went into the worry. Sure, I went into the thinking, how am I going to do it? Sure, I thought about firing people. Yes, because I couldn't afford them anymore. But I changed stations. It looks like I changed stations. It's not like sometimes you have to do it consciously. Sometimes it's a muscle that starts working for you. Yes. Another thought came to me and I said, God, you know why I'm here, how much I need and when? I'm not going to worry. And I'm not going to worry became really a tool for me. So it's not like I didn't worry anymore or I didn't have any more of the stories, but every time that I had the stories or the fear or the anxiety or whatever, I will look up and say, I'm not going to worry. Like I was telling the universe, I'm not worried or somebody worries, for me. Doctor, I never had money problems, and the money came from places I couldn't visualize, imagine, anything, because everything was via email. People that, reach out, to buy the copyright of my books, people that would hire me, to do speakings, and would give me an advance. I wasn't really worried. I knew that every time I had to pay, the money was there. I didn't know where it was going to come from. And that's trusting. You understand what I mean? I say realizing, becoming a little bit more humble, realizing we don't know that much, but there is a part of us that knows.
And I think that's exactly what you said about, the changing of the stations, that sometimes because we do have negative self-talk or we do have the worry thoughts and, the subconscious tries to protect us with all of that, but ultimately it does distract us from even noticing that there may be opportunities out there or there may be ways that could be much better. Now, one thing that you wrote in the book right at the beginning was also about the being the vessel, being open to receive, and just emptying yourself and just letting then the universe support you. And I think that's exactly what happens when you say, I don't worry. Somehow I'm open to receive. I'm open to get guidance. I'm open for solutions to find me. And is that a part of also what you feel zero frequency is, this allowing of things to come to you versus always feeling you have to plan, scheme, chase, hunt, whatever those things are, what you're taught to do?
That's what I did in my prior life, yes, when I was an accountant, when I was a mother, and the way I taught my kids, even before I woke up, one day I told my oldest son, life could be easy. And he looked at me and said, that's not what you used to tell me. And I said, I know, but I know a little bit better now. So because we learned that we had to worry. If we didn't worry, we were irresponsible. We learned that we needed to think. And when you have a problem, the worst thing you can do is think or worry, because then you are alone. And then you make it more difficult and you attract more problems. The thing is, you have to relax, you have to breathe, and you have to let go. And the solutions will come to you. And you have to know that you are protected and you are guided if you allow it. That's what you were saying. We have to allow it because we have free choice. So you are determined, if the help can come or not.
Now, I know some of you listeners are probably saying, yeah, it's easy for her to say. She sits in a nice hotel room in Mexico. He sits in France. So, yeah, you can have your chat, but we are really struggling here. And you may be right. But this is not just what Mabel talks about, letting go and trusting, and that's the end of the story. The beauty about zero frequency is also that it does go through processes and it leads you to yourself. It's so much easier to let go. And it's so much easier to trust that the universe takes care of you if you actually have a good relationship to yourself. If you know that you deserve it, if you know that you are a good, lovable person. And in order for you to know that, you also have to not only erase negative limiting beliefs in the subconscious, you also have to really find your essence. And that's part of what you write about in the book. So tell us about the essence. How do people even know what that means?
Well, first of all, I want to a little bit comment about what you just said. You are in France and I'm here in a hotel in Mexico, but we created our life. We got here because maybe we did some work before getting here. I mean, for me to go from being such a close-minded person and always having to be right and having the last word, and I knew better and I was kind of perfect, I got all the adjectives, of the perfect person. So I had to work on myself. I had to become humble. Not everybody will want to do that. You understand what I mean? Not everybody will want to say, I don't know. I love to say, I don't know. I love to become a child again. Yes, not everybody will do it. I don't know if you know the story of the crabs, but they said if you put a crab in one bucket, the crab gets out of the bucket. But if you put a lot of crabs in the bucket, none gets out. Because if one tries to do the work of going up, everybody is falling down and say, no, let's stay here. So sometimes I tell people, first of all, if you are happy the way of what you are doing, you have to keep doing what works for you, yes, and what makes you happy. But if you're not happy, think about it. I mean, because blaming and complaining or thinking you are a victim and people out there are lucky, that won't change your life. So you have to be willing, it looks like it's doing nothing, but letting go and trusting is doing exactly the opposite of what we learn. It is getting out of your comfort zone. It's trusting on something you cannot see or touch, but believe me, exists. So, and call it the way you want it. Sometimes I tell people, who thought, everything is thoughts. It's, even the chair I'm sitting here, somebody had to think about the chair before the chair be manifested. So everything, and so sometimes I ask myself, who thought of the human body or the mountains or the oceans? You understand what I mean? There is a more intelligent mind than ours. And here we are thinking we are the only ones in the universe and that we know and we are going to resolve it. It's time to wake up. The 2020 came to wake up people. And it's unfortunate that people are still stuck, and believing whatever. So this is the time to wake up. And I feel my mission is to wake up people, not convince them of Ho'oponopono or nothing, but just do something and stop complaining and blaming. So I'm sorry
if I didn't answer your question. But would you agree that you know, I mean, at least that's what I believe and what I'm teaching, but that it is not only important to trust the universe and have a relationship with something outside of you or the God within you, but really also have a relationship that is good within yourself. You know, so many
Yes,
people are struggling with
yes,
self-acceptance, self-love,
yeah,
and that is a key to
yes.
also
I
finding this openness to get filled up.
I started try. I'll tell you what I did, okay, to make the change. First of all, I started trusting myself, accepting myself just the way I was. I stopped listening to what other people thought of me, and realizing that what was important is what I thought of myself. Also, I let go of expectations. Expectations also are the memory, my stories and things like that. Knowing that I didn't know anything. I started
Right.
forgiving because I realized that if I didn't forgive, I was stuck, not the other person. I was hurting myself, not the other person. I was living in the past instead of the present. And all we have is this present moment. And your life is consequences of your decisions in this present moment.
And that's very important to just, take that step of responsibility, not as, oh my God, burden, chores, to-do lists, but really saying, I'm the creator of my life, my reality, on how I think about it, how I feel about it, and then how I act in it. And that is that beautiful choice that we all have. So making that choice to change your relationship with yourself and trust yourself and listen to yourself, and also maybe take your own judgment of yourself as more important than what other people are thinking. Just like as Mabel said, that's a really important first step, or maybe, a side step to get to that trust in the universe. When we come back, we're going to talk about the essence, because I think it's a beautiful,
Yeah.
a beautiful part of ourselves that I also really am excited to always show people and teach people how to get there. And then, of course, one of my favorite topics, which I'm so happy that you also teach about this, Mabel, which is the inner child. So we'll be right back. Hi, Dr. Friedemann here. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about fear and anxiety, here you'll find guided meditations, webinars, and interviews with some of the most renowned experts in the field of empowerment. Delve into the over 230 videos and more to come every week.